Screenless. Hello and welcome to another episode of Creative Cuppa with me, Gareth Davies. I hope you're having a great week. Are you up to anything creative? Let me know, or even better, come and join the Facebook group and start a conversation. If you're a listener, you're very welcome. It doesn't matter if you have a creative job or not. There's also a video room there where whoever's around has a cuppa and talks nonsense on Fridays at 9 a.m. All very informal. It's just nice to connect with people, isn't it? Now, I met Mick Cooke a few years ago at a conference in Sheffield called the Children's Media Conference. I was composing the score for kids' show Scream Street at the time, and Mick was busy scoring another kids' show, Bits and Bob. It's a lovely conference because you can sit in a hotel bar and be next to all sorts of incredibly creative people, from composers to publishers to artists to TV producers and directors. So it's really nice informal networking. Why am I telling you this? Well, now and again, it's nice to welcome a fellow composer onto the show, and Mick's story is just fascinating. I'll let him tell you about it, though. So if you have a cuppa ready, here we go. Mick Cooke, composer, welcome to Creative Cuppa.
Thanks, Gareth.
You're very welcome. It's really nice to have a fellow composer on. That's always nice for me. Because we're in a relatively small club in that we're both composers for TV, but more than that, we compose music for kids' TV.
Yeah.
And even more than that, it's animated kids' TV.
Yeah, it's a very small Venn diagram, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit, yeah. What was it for you about animation that drew you in?
Well, I've always loved animation, and it was kind of accidental, really, because I was playing with Belle Sebastian, and an animator got in touch saying that she wanted to use a Belle Sebastian song in an animation that she was working on for Channel 4, but she couldn't afford the sync fee. So she said, did anyone from the band want to do the music instead? And nobody else answered the email, and I did. And so I ended up doing that, and I absolutely loved it. And then just kind of, you know how it is, you you go along to the screening of the animation, you meet other animators there, and it becomes a thing, But yeah, I mean, I have tried doing other things like documentaries and things like that, but I found that animation was kind of like my natural home, really.
Yeah, and you suddenly become known for that genre as well, don't you?
Yeah, and you do worry sometimes. You think, oh, I'm being totally, typecast into this one thing, but actually, then you just kind of relax and say, well, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at it, and yeah, people seem to be coming back for more. So, why stress about that sort of thing?
So that was a real sliding doors moment for you. You were the only person who answered the email. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it kind of kept going like that because at the screening, I met a guy called Ian Gardner who ran the Scottish Animation Network. I mean, the screening was in London, but I met the Scottish guy who was trying to get Yasmin, the animator. He was inviting her to the Christmas party for the Animation Network in Scotland, and she's saying, "Well, I don't think I can make it, Ian, because I live in London." And I said, well, I'll go. And he's like, who are you? So and then I went on to that, met loads of people there. So and it just kind of kept going like that, really, which is when people kind of come to me and say, how do you get into this industry? It really is just a case of getting out there. And, when you hang out the places where directors hang out, they hang out with each other, you meet other directors. That's kind of how it all works, really.
Yeah, and we met, of course, at CMC, which is the Children's Media Conference.
Yeah.
Which is basically where the entire kids' media industry just descend and sit in a hotel bar for 3 days.
Absolutely. And God bless the organisers of that, because it really is a great... Yeah. I remember people telling me about that, and I kind of thought, that sounds like not the kind of thing I would really be interested in. But I went along to it, and it really is amazing, because it is just a case of people hanging out, and everyone's really relaxed, and everyone's really friendly and approachable. Yeah. And it's, they're not all like that. I think all these conferences, there's lots that don't have that kind of atmosphere. Yeah. So they've really kind of got it right, I think, there.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned Belle and Sebastian there, because you were the trumpet player and the bassist with them for 15 years. I mean, that's a long time. It must seem like 2 different lives. And that was, playing at venues like the Albert Hall and the Hollywood Bowl, and you won a Briss Award, and you were nominated for Ivan Novello and Mercury Prize. I mean, that's quite something.
Yeah. I mean, it's only looking back, you think, actually, that was quite a trip. At the time, I mean, you know, it's absolutely great fun when you're in it and you're doing it. But you sort of think, oh, this is just kind of normal, and this is, you know, we're going to the Mojo Awards today, and oh, here's David Arnold sat next to me and stuff like that. You know, you just think it's kind of normal, and then you kind of realise it's not really. But yeah, no, it's such a great time, and I mean, just the whole touring thing was really good fun, and so many great memories.
Was there a moment over that 15 years where you thought, wow, this isn't quite what I signed up for, but it's amazing, riding that wave?
There definitely was. I mean, playing at the Hollywood Bowl to 17,000 people, backed by the LA Philharmonic Orchestra, was a moment where you just kind of go, yeah, I just can't believe this is actually happening. It really was. It was like a dream. But I can still totally remember that moment, you know, just standing there playing my trumpet thinking, this is totally, you know, I can't imagine another time like this. This is never going to happen again. But yeah, just moments like that, you really, and I think the moment of clarity as well is the thing. It's a strange thing, you know. Sometimes you sort of think, oh, you're going to be incredibly nervous doing that, but actually, you're kind of the calmest that you ever feel ever doing that in the moment. It's kind of like that thing they talk about, you know, being in the moment, and what do they call it now? Mindfulness.
Yeah, it's being present.
It's totally mindfulness. You're just, because all you can do, nobody's going to phone you. There's no bills coming through the door. You're just standing playing your trumpet to 17,000 people. It's
like you do.
Like you do. But yeah, I hadn't realised how much it was like that until I got invited back, and we played again with an orchestra at the Hydro in Glasgow. And that was a pretty big audience as well. That was 2015. And I hadn't done that for a while. And yeah, I was just standing there thinking, I'm going to be nervous. But I wasn't at all. Just standing there, just thinking, I've not been as calm as this, you know, for a long time.
Yeah, that must have been quite nice to revisit in a way. No pressure.
It was. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, actually.
Well,
because I was also kind of helping out with the orchestra, so I kind of help out when, you know, kind of get the orchestra, all the parts ready and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, so I was kind of involved right up until the point. And I think that was the thing, because, you know, obviously there's a lot of stress involved and all that sort of stuff. And then you get on the stage and you've got your trumpet and you go, right, I know what I'm doing now. I can just play this. And you kind of, you know, nobody's going to say this part's not right, or it's like, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So fast forward then, Bits and Bob for CBeebies, Bodge for CBeebies, a couple of seasons of Zack and Quack for Nick Jr. How have you found writing for that age group and for that style of animation?
It's been great. I mean, like I said, I did try to do things like documentaries and found that it wasn't really my natural home. And funny enough, I did a course in Edinburgh, a kind of composing course. It was like a week-long course. And all the tutors on that were saying, you know, your style's too melodic for music for media.
Interesting.
And, you know, I think they were right for most things. I mean, I just think in terms of melody all the time. But then I found that for animation, it kind of works. And you have to have melody in, you know, kids TV and animation as well. So, but yeah, I just found doing the actual work really enjoyable, and, you know, watching amazing animation, I love that as well. And just the people as well, just so nice. I mean, I think particularly in kids TV, the people, you know, the producers, the directors, they're just, I mean, I've yet to meet an unpleasant person. Really, it's like, I think maybe I've been lucky, but there's just a really nice atmosphere working in kids TV. Everyone's in it for the right reasons, you know. Everyone's really passionate about it and just want to get the best for it, and, you know, just want to produce something really great. Plus, I mean, I was doing it at the time when my kids were able to watch the programs, you know, basically hot off the press. So I'd do an episode of Zack and Quack, and then my kids would be watching it with me, you know, and it was just, that was quite a special thing, actually, because you kind of realize, well, they're the first people to see this in this state, you know. And
what do the kids think?
Oh, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And I think, yeah, they thought it was a kind of normal thing for a dad to do, but I think it was when they went to school and realised actually not everyone's dad does this, you know. But yeah, one son started to write songs himself. And so, yeah, that's kind of nice when you sort of see that happening.
It's really interesting what you're saying about being kind of melody driven, because I feel that as well. And I have ended up writing soundtracks for kids TV. I know other composers who work in kids TV who feel the same. So there seems to be some kind of common thread there, doesn't there? for...
Yeah, I think it's just a natural home. I think the other thing as well is that I just assumed it was quite an easy thing to do to write happy music, but actually it's quite a difficult thing to do. I mean, obviously there's a lot of music for media which is about producing really disturbing music or really sad music. But yeah, it actually hit home when a producer for a certain series I was pitching for said, well, actually you were the natural choice because everything else that came through was really dark. It was like they're writing for a dark documentary. And I was thinking, well, I mean, unless they got the wrong brief, that's quite a hard thing to do. But then I kind of realized actually writing happy music is actually, it doesn't come naturally to everyone. It is quite a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And they, writing for kids' TV in particular has an extra pressure of production companies want to age it up. So they want to bridge that gap, don't they? So while music is music, you shouldn't particularly age things down. There is a pressure, isn't there, to have things for animated series that are more immediate, more urgent and more melody driven, like you say. It's a really hard kind of high wire to
It really is,
on.
yeah. I mean, I think the biggest note I ever get on most series I work on is, age it up, just make sure you're not going too preschool, because they are preschool shows I'm working on, but they don't want it to be too plonky or to try and avoid, the kind of...
Less marimba,
yeah, exactly. Reach for that marimba.
Yeah, lovely. So, what's next for you? Are you mid-series? Are you...
Yeah, well, I'm doing stuff for Sesame Workshop just now. So doing some Elmo stuff.
Wow.
Which
That's amazing. It's another throwback to, childhood and thinking, who'd have thought when I was that age in the audience?
No, absolutely. I mean, I was a massive fan of the Muppets in particular when I was a kid, I loved that show. Sesame Street, I think, probably passed me by a little bit as a kid. I also knew about it, but Bert and Ernie, they're absolutely brilliant. And... yeah, no, it's amazing, actually. Again, it's something, as you kind of pinch yourself saying, oh, I'm working on this. It's been great. Big learning curve, but enjoying it. It's been good.
Fantastic. So will that hit our screens soon, or is that still in early stages? Yeah,
the special's out on HBO Max, which I don't think I know anyone that has that in this country, but I don't know. No. I don't know if if you can get it in this country, but and then I think there'll be another special also for HBO Max and some YouTube stuff as well. So
fantastic. Okay. So Mick, where can people find you online if they want to find out more and listen to your stuff, watch show reels, etc.?
I have a website, toomanicooks.co.uk, and that's
good name.
That's Cooks with an E before the S. So yeah, Too Many Cooks, and two as in TOO and not number two. Yeah.
Right, okay. I shall put that link in the show notes for you, Mick. But for now, thank you very much for joining me for a cuppa.
Thank you, Gareth. It's been great.
Thanks again to Mick for his time and his stories. We've talked before about sliding doors moments on Creative Cuppa. Mick is only in the position he's in now because he answered an email and took an opportunity. I imagine he would have got there somehow, but it's fascinating, isn't it, the way careers start from a little idea. I think there's also a lesson there to say yes and be brave. Who knows where it could lead to? Do you have a creative career? I'd love to know how you got started. What was your sliding doors moment? You can use any of the @ScreenersPod socials to get in touch. Feel free to DM or go through creativecuppa.uk, whatever suits you. All the links are in the show notes. That's all for now, so until next time, be kind, be creative, and thanks for joining me for a cuppa.